The mind is like an art brush that paints the picture of our life. The ways in which we flow the strokes of the brush will determine how our life unfolds. But you see, art cannot be done consciously. It is an automatic process. It is a flow. It is an unfolding. And the more we try to control and force things, the more we ruin the art. In the same way, the more we try to force and control our life to be the way we want it to be, the more we ruin our experience. And so the key to living our highest life is to smoke copious amounts of cannabis. What I meant to say was, allow. Just allow. If you are painting your art and you get frustrated, this frustration will sabotage the whole thing. In the same way, when you're living your life and you are frustrated in things not being the way you want them to be, you can only make things worse. So how do we remove this frustration? It is in the realization that you are not the artist in the way that you believe you are. And when there is no artist, there can be no frustration. As it is said in the Tao Te Ching. What does it say? Giving birth and nourishing, bearing but not possessing, working yet not taking credit, leading but not dominating. This is the primal virtue. And this is the nature of the divine artist, that one that many call God. Now let me ask you this. Assuming that you don't have chronic depression, are you the one that gets yourself out of bed in the morning? If I told you for the next 7 days you cannot leave your bed, but maybe to go to the bathroom, chances are you would probably go crazy. Because there is something in you, something that is beyond your mind, that is driving your existence. And what this is the force of life itself. Life must be lived. Life desires to experience. And the reason I said, assuming you do not have depression, is because those who are depressed are consumed by the force of death. And so they do not have this motivation. In fact, for them, it may be difficult to get out of bed. And so you see, we get possessed by these different higher transcendent forces. And these forces act through us and paint the picture of our life. But we tend to claim credit for the work that God has already done. For those who have eyes to see, they will recognize that life is a divine play that is unfolding automatically by itself. That our actions, the things that we do, the things that we think, are an automatic process. That it is the life living through us, not us living life. As it has been said in the Bible, we fight not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, these higher ideas, these greater forces that act through us. And this could be the force of life or death. This could be our instincts that drive us towards certain actions and certain thoughts. We think that we are the puppet masters of our life, and yet do not realize that we are always at the mercy of these different forces. I like to think that we cannot enter into this life without being a slave. But the choice that we have is to choose what we are a slave to. And what we are a slave to, that will be the artist that paints our life. So if we become a slave to our animalistic instincts, then our life will be painted in such a way and will cause great misery. Because for a human being, that way of living is unnatural. If you surrender and become a slave to the forces of negativity, of darkness and death, well then that will paint the picture of your life, and you will live a great tragedy. But if you surrender to the highest truth, to God, to the life force flowing within you, then you will live the most beautiful life. And so the quality of our life is determined by the quality of our master, the quality of that in which we surrender to. Who will you give the paintbrush of your mind? When you say to yourself, I am somebody, I do things this way, or this is the way that I am, you restrict this creative flow, this divine force within you. This divine intelligence, the force of life, fills the vessel in which it is placed. It is like water that adapts to any vessel in which it is placed. So when the divine intelligence is placed through a tree, it grows and does tree things. Or a dog, it does dog things. The vessel determines the way in which life is expressed. And so, as I often say, the information in here, in your body and in your mind, life is being filtered through you and being projected out onto the world, and that is what you experience. But imagine this. Imagine if you simply remained empty, if you remained in this present moment now as nobody, not striving to be somebody or trying to be a certain way, but you simply surrendered and allowed all things to be as they are. For most people, they have so many personal ideas and stories and identities going on all the time in their mind, and they are like a vessel full of dirt and clay. The water that is placed within gets polluted, and it is not able to fill the whole vessel because there is too much stuff. But the vessel that is spotless and clean and empty, that water is usable, and more water can fill the vessel. And this is the secret of the great saints, is that when you are empty, this divine intelligence, this force of life, the God essence that you are, seeks to fill this space. And so the more of you, the less there is of God. And the less there is of you, the more there is of God. And so in this emptiness, you allow the force of life to flow through you most freely. And that is how you create the most beautiful life. Because God is the divine artist, and so the art that is your life, that is being expressed through you, is most divine. For most people, their paintbrush, their mind, is dirty with so many different colors. And so whenever they go and paint things in their life, their experience is polluted and corrupted by all of these different things, these different ideas, these patterns, these identities, and we suffer greatly. But take this paintbrush of your mind and dip it in the waters of God, and you will see that naturally the portrait of your life becomes more and more beautiful, more and more harmonious. And we do this by remaining as we are right now. You find that all of our ideas of who we believe we are, the stories in our mind, are only that. They're only stories that we choose to believe in. But what is true here and now is emptiness. It is the great silence in which all noise arises and falls back into. It is the space in which all objects arise from and fall back into. All things are changing, the mind, the body, but this emptiness, this inner spaciousness is eternal because it is unchanging. And so the first step is in recognizing this, because most have no idea. Most just assume reality is as they think it to be, or as it appears to be. We just assume we are this person, this individual, and that some things we make happen in our life and some things just happen to us. But in reality, everything is a reflection of us, because there is no separation between what we are within and the reality we experience outside, because life is being filtered through us. And all the different patterns, all the different identities and ideas and beliefs and stories, these are like an infinite array of different colors. And that is why our life is painted the way it is. When you begin to remain empty and surrender to the present moment, many things of the past might arise, old patterns, old ideas, and this is like spring cleaning of the mind. Old things must arise for you to drop and allow and to let go of. And in this letting go, we become more empty, more free, and God, as the divine artist, can do God's work through us more easily. And for a while, there might be a ping-pong effect where you get pulled back into your old identities, your old patterns and beliefs, but then you return back to the present moment. Remember what is true here and now. That is your existence as inner spaciousness and inner presence. If you wish to know this, you must look here and now in this present moment. You exist. You know that you exist. But as what do you exist? If you close your eyes and try to find what you are, that will lead you to the truth. And then you remain connected to that. And in the beginning, you might get pulled back into illusion, and then remember the truth. And soon, you will not be able to forget yourself again. And in remaining as your true self, by remaining as nobody, by simply being here and now, the divine force of life can flow through you most freely, and God, as the divine artist, can paint the most beautiful picture of your life.